So let's say you just signed your life away, alright? And you want to, take that back. You don't really want to sign your life away. Let's talk about how we can escape contracts we make. First of all, a contract is a promise, essentially. When you sign a contract or make an agreement with someone, you are promising that if they do something for you, you'll do something for them. That's how it works. Which brings us to the question of, can I get out of any promise I make? No, definitely not. No, don't even. No, 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 don't even think that you can get out of every single promise that you make with someone. However, you can totally get out of some of those promises. So let's talk about how. Oh, that meme. Anyways, there are certain types of promises that you can get out of. For instance, a gift promise. So let's say that you're a parent and you say that, hey, Johnny, who is your 4-year-old son, when you grow up and you get older, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you my house. And then what happens with Johnny is he grows up to be a total dirtbag and a scumbucket, and he does a bunch of terrible things, and you want to disown him as a child, then you aren't bound by that promise that you made to little Johnny when he was 4 years old. You can totally get out of that promise. This is because gift promises offer no exchange, so you can totally get out of those promises if you want, because it's just a one-sided promise and not a contract between two people. Now let's talk about duress. Basically, let's say that I'm standing right next to you and I hold you at gunpoint and I say, promise to give me all of your money and your firstborn child and your secondborn daughter, and I won't kill you. Well, in this situation, you can totally promise and say that you'll do that and then back out. Like, for real, that's nothing that you want to get involved in. Like, just ease my mind. Tell me that, yeah, that's something you'll do, but then legally you can totally get out of that promise because you made it under duress. The third type of promise you can get out of are unconscionable promises. Basically, these are kind of promises that occur when there is a knowledge mismatch. So, let's say you go to a car dealer and he draws up a nice, pretty contract and he says he'll sell you this brand new car that's in great condition for $15,000. So then you all sign that and you go through this process, and then you own the car, and it turns out to be a lemon. Like the engine goes out and all of the tires fall off of it and the windshield shatters when you touch it with your finger. If this is something that the dealer knew existed before he, sold you this lemon, because of this knowledge mismatch, then you can totally get out of that promise. Like, he'll need to give you your 15 grand back. This is a type of promise you can get out of, and it's called an unconscionable promise because of this knowledge mismatch that goes on. And the last type of promise that you can get out of is called a form promise. Form promises are something like, when you sign up to get an email or a Facebook account and they say, check this box to agree to our terms of service and privacy policy. If they have some that are something in there that's super vague, and those documents are crazy long and no one actually reads them, to an extent, this is a hot topic in the legal environment currently, but to an extent, there have been cases where you can totally get out of form promises. So if these are promises that we can get out of, what are some kinds of ways we can get out of contracts? The simplest way by far the easiest way is to simply get the other person to let you out of the contract, whether you negotiate some other deal or you appeal to their emotions somehow. If you can get the other person to let you out of the contract, that's the best way to go. So if you want to quit your job and you want to leave tomorrow instead of wait that 2 weeks, if you can talk your manager into letting you out the next day instead of waiting your 2 weeks, that's one way that you can get out of a contract. Another way is to prove that situations of duress or unconscionability existed when you made your contract. Of course, you can't simply just say, Albert Einstein held you at gunpoint when you signed that contract. You need to be able to prove it, just like things in the legal system need to be proven in all circumstances. Another way that you can get out of a contract is if you prove a flaw in the agreement process. Essentially, what this means is if when you and Billy Bob were coming to an agreement, if you didn't do so in such a way that conforms to the laws and the standard procedures related to contract law, then you can get out of that contract. So, for instance, if there was a line in the contract that you didn't sign, then you can get out of that contract. Finally, the last way you can get out of a contract is if your performance of your promise becomes impossible. So, for example, if you went to a car dealership and you said that you were going to buy this car, and you all draft up the papers and everything, and everyone signs it, and you say, sweet, I'm going to buy this car now, and then a wrecking ball comes out of nowhere. It just flies from outer space, and then it destroys your car. Then the dealership can get out of selling you that car because they can no longer fulfill their end of the deal. And this is how you get out of signing your life away.